I'm going to explain the rules of Glow, the game designed by Cédric Chaboussy, artwork by Benjamin Bassot and Vincent Dutray, published by Bombix for 2 to 4 players, where you play an adventurer in a world of darkness who will have 8 days to recruit a band of companions so that together they collect a maximum number of shards of light to dissipate the darkness. Each player chooses their adventurer and receives the associated dice. Each character has a power granted by a combination of dice and which can earn shards of light at the end of the game. Choose together the side of the board for the game. If you choose the Archipelago of Darkness, each player chooses their color of boat, places 4 on the central island, and keeps 1 in front of them as a color reminder. If you choose the Province of Shadows, place your band token on the start space. Whichever board you take, place the score tokens on number 10 of the score track. Place the footprint, firefly, reroll and spell tokens nearby, along with the large red, orange, blue, green, and azure die, and the small black die. Place the meeting track next to the journey board. Roll all the remaining small dice and place them on the track according to their result. If the roll of the purple die results in a footprint, roll it again until it shows an element. If one of the sections does not get any dice, add a footprint token. Shuffle the A and B companion cards separately, remove 3 cards from each of these decks, and place the A companions on the B's face down. Place 1 card below each section of the meeting track. Decide who is the first player, they get the associated token, and the player to their right receives 2 reroll tokens. The first player chooses a companion and adds it next to their adventurer along with the associated dice and tokens. In a 2-player game, the first player then removes a companion from the track and places it in the cemetery. Then, in turn, all the other players select a card and take the dice and tokens that goes with it. The Sketal's card immediately get an additional large die. The Kaar card activates the small black die, which you roll and place on the meeting track on the resulting element. If the result is an empty section, reroll. All remaining companions go to the cemetery, but the tokens and dice remain in place on the track. Then, simultaneously, the player roll their dice. Each reroll tokens allows you to reroll 1 or 2 dice once. If you wish, you can move your score token back to a reroll space on the track to take advantage of this action. If, during the game, you wish to use this option, be aware that you can only trigger this space by moving your token back and not in any other way. Some companions allow you to reroll every turn, but this ability is only available if it is indicated in the upper left corner of the card. Finally, you can spend 3 rerolls, either with tokens, companion abilities, moving your token back, or a combination of all 3, to choose the side of a die. You can reroll your dice as many times as you can under the condition listed above, but once the result is fixed, it cannot be changed for the entire round. If you have the black die, each of the player dice that shows the same result as the black die is unusable until the end of the round. The Kaar card makes you immune to the black die. The players will then simultaneously resolve the effect of their cards in any order they wish. For each of the previously obtained combinations that fulfill the trigger conditions of a card of their band, a player is obligated to activate their card as many times as they have the combination from different dice. So the player who had obtained these dice results in the previous phase will be able to activate their Ales card twice since they have 2 sets of dice corresponding to the card's trigger condition. They will therefore receive 2 fireflies and 4 shards. Their Sketal's card will die and go to the cemetery, earning 2 shards. The player must return the Sketal die to the reserve, and since none of their dice show a water symbol, their Donililu card will allow them to earn 2 shards and 1 reroll token. If one of your companions dies, place it in the cemetery immediately. If this card gave you 1 additional large die, it must be put back into the reserve immediately. If certain effects cause you to earn or lose shards, move your token forward or backward on the track accordingly. If you have Kraumog and can trigger it, send it to the cemetery and choose a companion to add to your band. Its effects are resolved immediately like the other if possible. If you have the Xar'Gok card and you fulfill its trigger condition, discard this card and each opponent randomly chooses a spell to place face down in front of them without looking at it. These tokens will be revealed at the beginning of the next round. If, from that moment on, during the game, a player fulfills the trigger condition of their spell, they apply its effects and then discard it. Each player can then move their band as many spaces as their dice allow, but each die can only be used once. Some spaces allow you, whether you pass or stop on them, to obtain tokens. They can cause you to lose shards or force you to put one on your companions in the cemetery without benefiting from its death, effect, or cancel a spell. Finally, if you wish to pass or stop on a space that removes a footprint token, you must discard a footprint or you simply cannot pass through that space. Each footprint token in your reserve can be played as a wild card, allowing you to move when your dice don't allow you to, even on spaces where certain elements must be absent from your result. The token is then discarded. If you have chosen the Province of Shadow board, you can stop in a village and place your camp there. The camp will earn you a number of shards of light at the end of the game equal to the number indicated on the space. You can move your camp at any time when you are in another village. More than one band and camp tokens can be on the same space. If you have chosen the Archipelago of Darkness board, you cannot place more than one boat of your color on a space, and you can only move one boat per round to an adjacent island. To do this, you must have exactly as many different element symbols among your dice as shown on the board, no more and no less. When you have finished moving, place all of your small dice according to their results in the meeting track to let the other players know that you have finished your turn. If the little purple die shows anything other than element, reroll until it shows 1. When all opponents have done the same, pass the first player token to the player on your left and place the first 5 cards of your deck below the meeting track. If there are any sections without dice, add 1 footprint token. Start a new round in the same way as described above. The game ends after 8 rounds, when there are no more companions left to fill the meeting track. The final count of shards of light is then made. Move your token forward as many spaces as the number of shards of light your band has earned. Count the points earned by your position on the board, either by your camp or by the position of your boats. Each firefly is counted from your cards and from your tokens, and if you have at least as many fireflies as you have companions, you can get an extra 10 shards. Finally, every footprint you have earns you 1 point. The player with the highest score on the track dispels the darkness and adds their name to the ancient texts. Have a good time!